Hey everyone, welcome to our companion podcast to this sermon series looking at scenes of The Chosen and asking the question, is that in the Bible? And so we're going to be looking at doing a bit of a recap on our message from yesterday, as well as going deeper on stuff that didn't make it in, as well as trying to figure out how do we apply this to our lives Monday through Saturday also as we're being apprentices of Jesus. That's what I got.
That's all you got? All right. So then I guess we'll get right into it. So what's the like nutshell recap of the sermon on Sunday for anybody that missed it?
Yeah, so we looked at the scene from John chapter 4 where Jesus meets with a woman at a well, and she's a Samaritan woman. He's a Jewish man, and we talked about kind of the dynamic between Jews and Samaritans, and we can go deep on that too. But it's this woman who was an outcast from her own community even, was socially isolated, was actively trying to avoid kind of connection with others, maybe because of the stares or the assumptions or the whispers. And Jesus just goes right to her. And the passage that we looked at starts off in verse 3 where it says he had to go through Samaria. And it's this like, it wasn't a chance encounter, and it wasn't just because he was taking a shortcut. He was trying to go there to meet her. And so we talked about why it was that he went to meet her, to engage with her, to help her know that her past doesn't limit his love and doesn't limit his desire to work in her and work through her. And so we looked at that, and we looked at how then she became the first witness to that area of Samaria, and it opened the door to him being able to minister there for multiple days and kind of be one of those first glimpses that the good news of Jesus isn't just for the Jewish people, but it is for all, for outsiders, for people with messy pasts, for people who feel they're too broken. And so that was kind of a nutshell of what we looked at yesterday.
All right, Mike, I know that you're a young dad. You got some kids that you're wrangling up in the front row while he's preaching. Is there anything that like caught you off guard that you were like, wait, what was he getting at here? Is there like something that you didn't fully understand?
I'm usually locked in. I'm like, hey, kids, be quiet. Like I'm in on this. And there are a lot of fun tidbits in that sermon that I really enjoyed. They're like my squirrel moments. One of them being like the Judea, going from Judea to Galilee. We have with the advent of GPS, and I looked more into this a little bit after, and like I found out that the Pharisees had they had made routes that intentionally went around Samaria because people would be made ritually unclean when they do that, especially if we talked about like if you encounter a Samaritan woman, like you would be ritually unclean. And so they intentionally made routes around it. And for me, it was like this imagery of, when you pull up like Waze or Google and it's like, do you want to avoid tolls? Or do you want to get there the fastest? It's like
the avoid Samaria.
Yeah, it's avoid Samaria because nobody's got time for that. We'll actually take more time to get around. And I thought that was fun imagery for me. That was just my squirrel brain moment there. But yeah.
Yeah, I was in doing kind of some of the prep for this. It was interesting to me all the extra rules that had been set up at that time, specifically about Samaritans. And I mean, many people know a lot about kind of the Pharisees and religious leaders in Jesus' day. They were trying to be letter of the law followers of the covenant, because the understanding was we are currently experiencing oppression from the Roman occupation right now. And we look back at their Bible, the Hebrew Bible, the Old Testament, at different times in Israel's history when kings would lead them well and things would go well for the people, times when kings would lead them astray from worship of God and things would go bad. And so they go, okay, here's this cycle of when we turn away from God and we're not following his law, that's when things go bad for us. And then we have different Old Testament prophets talking about, hey, you've been sent away to exile, you've been captured, you've been beaten by these people. And the prophet would say, because you've turned away from God. And so the Jewish people are living right now not in a great time. Rome is in charge. They're paying crazy taxes. They're not free to be their own sovereign nation. And they go, I bet it's because we've turned away from God before. And I think what we're supposed to do is turn back to God as much as we can. And so the Pharisees took every single kind of like Old Testament law, there's 613 of them, and then they even try to figure out, okay, but what's like the 4 ways to follow this law? And so it was just endless ways to try and follow the law as perfectly as possible. And even the laws that were specifically only for the priesthood, only for the high priest, only for the people who are consecrating themselves when they go into the temple, they said, well, what if we just make every Jew do that? Then God's got to love us.
Yeah, let's take no chances.
God has got to help us, and then he'll rescue us from Rome. And so that's why they were such sticklers with how to follow these laws, because they were so worried we want to be heading in the right direction to earn God's love and rescue again, not keep digging ourselves deeper into God's anger with us.
Okay, so that gives us perspective on like what was going back then, what was going in the area around this whole deal. But what's that going to do for like people that are listening to this? Are they're reading the scripture, they're being introspective? Like, where are they finding themselves in this?
Yeah, I really I was really drawn to this story. The clip of The Chosen that we played, like the actors did such a great job of kind of just this woman who's been hardened by life and really built up like a callus in life. And I mean, I opened the message talking about when my family moved to a new town for 6th grade, and I had the beginning of the school year, and I was at lunchtime not knowing where I was allowed to sit because I didn't have any of the friend groups that were already established. And kind of just that relatable, all of us have experienced that when we have walked into a room and felt like I don't belong here, or felt like maybe everyone here is judging me or has written me off already. And we know what that feels like. And for Jesus to go straight to her and say, I know that everyone else seems to have written you off. I know that you even have written yourself off based on what you've experienced, based on how you've been a survivor in life. But I still came just for you.
Yeah.
And so for me, that was such a relatable thing, because I don't know anyone who looks back on the way that they've lived their life, looks back in their own past, and views it as just stellar.
Yeah.
I don't know a single person who's like, yeah, I've got like a spotless record.
Yeah. And she even sees herself through the eyes of what she thinks Jesus looks at her like. You think that I'm unclean? Like, isn't that what you believe?
Yeah, she's like,
And
why would
so-
you ask me for a drink of water? Because obviously I'm touching this
Yeah.
jar, and if I hand you this jar and you touch that jar, then my cooties get on you, my germs get on you, and now you are ritually impure according to Jewish standards.
What does that mean then? When somebody is ritually or ceremonially unclean?
Yeah, so I mean, it's the understanding in the Jewish understanding of the first century that in order to draw near to God, you need to be purified. One of the Old Testament images of sin is that of pollution. And when God was leading the Israelite people through the desert, when he had saved them from slavery in Egypt, before they got to the promised land, they set up the tabernacle, this tent of meeting with God. And there's this whole process of purifying the tabernacle and purifying the people before they can engage with God. And so that means the assumption is that you're impure. And so sin is this idea of like pollution. And I always think of those Dawn dish soap commercials with the little ducks. The little ducks covered in, there's been some oil spill somewhere. And it's like they are choking on this pollution. It is physically harming them. They know that they're trying to get into the water to like get food and stuff like that, but it is harming them. And so the cleanup crew comes in and uses Dawn dish soap to clean off all the grime and stuff like that. And that's to purify them, but also purify the area to get rid of that. And so to be purified in the Jewish understanding is to go through doing a sacrifice, having a certain time frame. Hey, we're setting ourselves apart. We're not interacting with anyone for 7 days, so that those germs of sin can fade away or something like that.
Yeah.
And so to become ritually impure means you just did something that got the germs of sin on you again.
And so we don't have access to God.
And so now you are
don't have
blocked
Yeah.
from accessing God
Yeah.
until you get purified again.
And that's the way she sees herself.
And she sees herself as, I am the block
Yeah.
to other people. I am the pollution.
Unknowingly standing in the presence of God, thinking, I can't stand in the presence of God.
And Jesus, I mean, when Jesus shows up, and I love the way there's this incredible Bible Project video that talks about it, where Jesus shows up and instead of, he takes that image of sin being pollution and he says, yeah, no, it's not the sin that is polluting us. It's me that is clearing away sin. And anywhere Jesus goes, it's like he's just completely washed away the blockage between God and humans.
Yeah.
You know, sin doesn't get on him. His salvation gets on them, you know? And so like, that's what he goes to, where he goes to her also. You know, they get into this argument in John chapter 4 where they're talking about, you know, she's trying to figure him out and she's maybe even deflecting the conversation.
Right.
And she's like, yeah, well, I mean, I don't even know why you're talking to me because you're a Jew, I'm a Samaritan. And she references this generations old conflict of different worship practices. And it's like, well, we worship God on this mountain, but you say that that's not right. And you worship God over in that mountain. It's like that. And he's like, yeah. The point is, it won't be about, oh, there's only a geographic place to access God.
Yeah.
You have to go there to get to God. And if you can't go there, then you can't get to God. And therefore, God's not going to come. Like, God is coming to you. God is looking for worshipers who will worship in spirit and truth because God is spirit. And so the blockage for access to God is being removed by Jesus. And he demonstrates it by going to Samaria and going to her, not because she called for him.
Yep.
He goes to her first. And it's a beautiful image for us to answer your question. How are we supposed to see this? I think too many people, even now, even in the 21st century America, we think that what I do blocks me from God or gets me to God. We think, oh, I messed up last night because of what I said to my kid or what I looked at on the TV or the thought I had about that person. And now I'm dirty and I need to get cleaned up again.
I got to clean myself up
before I can go talk to God.
Yeah.
Oh, I must be in good standing with God because, and then you list off the things you've been doing.
Yeah.
I've been reading my Bible. I've been praying every day. And so why aren't you like answering my prayer? Because like I've been doing the stuff.
Yeah.
And Jesus is like, it's not about what you do or don't do. It's about that grace is reaching out to you to say, hey, I want you. I want to claim you, show you love, and I want to work through you to reach the others near you.
I see where you're at right now, and you don't need to. You made a really good point about it. You don't need to be theologically sound before you start sharing the gospel with others. You don't have to be perfect. He's already doing that work in you, and so why wait? And she demonstrates that really well, and Jesus is making her clean. And the thing that she thought held her back, she is now proclaiming as, because of this, because of what I've come from, Jesus, like making the point of her testimony, Jesus changed me.
Yeah. And, so Luther has this description of what sin does to us, where it turns us into navel gazers. You're bent in on yourself, looking at yourself. That's what a life filled with sin does, is it turns us inward. We're focused on our own righteousness or unrighteousness. We're focused on what I've done or not done. We're focused on our dirtiness, and it takes us out of the game. We're not able to then actually like interact with anyone else. We're not able to like do the things God's calling us to because we're too focused on us.
And that navel gazing is through the lens of the law.
Yeah. And so
what have I done right and what have I done wrong that I need to
And that's how
hide?
this woman starts this passage.
Yeah.
Because she's focused on herself. Oh my gosh, who's this guy? Is he going to be judging me? Is he going to be condemning me? Is he going to be, shaming me just like the others? And and by the end, her interaction with Jesus has transformed her to not be self-focused in a self-condemning way, but to be outward focused.
Yeah.
Hey, I got to go tell people. And like you said, I'm going to tell them about Jesus.
Yeah.
Yep. Even while she's still in process. Like, could this be the Messiah? It's not like she has it figured out, but she's willing now. It's opened her up from being just inward focused. And how many times do any of us or the average person who's trying to follow Jesus, what the enemy is going to do is he's trying to make us self-focused, either self-focused in shame on our own ways that we're messed up, or self-focused in pride on, well, I'm more righteous than so-and-so, at least I'm not. And it's still keeping us navel gazing.
Yeah.
Rather than what Jesus wants to do, which is, hey, how about you let me work through your life? Because your life can be about something so much bigger and so much more incredible. Because Jesus is now bringing light and life and healing, not only to us, but through us.
Yep. And then not looking at yourself through the eyes of the law, which only brings death, but you are looking at yourself through the eyes of God who sees you as his beloved child, and nothing else is going to, the law can't touch you from there.
Well, yes. And seeing a beloved child, I mean, all of us have kids. And like, man, I didn't know what it meant to love a kid until I had a kid.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's other people's kids.
Yeah.
And they're cute. And I would have affection for them. Megan and I, we did, about a decade of junior high youth ministry together before we had kids. And like, there are some of these kids, these middle school students, I was like, man, I love these kids.
Yeah.
But also it's so different when like you see them for 2 hours and then you give them back to their parents, right? Like that's just, then you have your own. And so like to see your own child with just the eyes of love doesn't mean that you don't see they're still broken, obnoxious, whiny little humans, children, Eric always says they're still little sinners.
Yep.
Like, and so for God to see us as a beloved father and for us to receive that, it doesn't mean that he doesn't see our brokenness. It doesn't mean that he doesn't still see, hey, here's the ways that I want to keep growing you and helping you heal and helping you like learn more and be humbled more and become more fruitful in these areas. He totally does see that. It's that he doesn't stand far off from us with his arms crossed until we earn our, like, he's like, I'm right here with you.
Yep.
Let's figure it out together. And I think that for us, the average person reading the scripture, wrestling with it and going, God, what does this mean for me right now? Like, I think we got to start from, and that was my threefold application. We got to receive living water from Jesus. We got to receive his love and his grace and his acceptance, and then drop the jar and go tell someone.
Yeah.
She shows up with his jar, and this was in my research time, St. Augustine, in his commentary on John, he's the one that points out, like, look how she dropped the jar.
Yeah, stop what you're doing.
As if she wasn't thirsty anymore.
Yeah.
She showed up needing water. She left realizing that what she got from Jesus was way more than what she thought she needed. And so it's like dropping that, that thing that we think this is what I need right now. This is what's going to sustain me. This is what, is going to satisfy me. This is what's going to satiate me. And what are the things that we normally go to, right?
Yeah.
Achievement, recognition, comfort, any of these things that we normally go to. Oh, I'm feeling kind of out of it, so I'm going to go grab that bag of Easter candy I know is hidden up there and just shove my face full of sugar, right? Or oh man, I'm feeling really like alone and disconnected, so I'm just going to like scroll social media because that's going to help me unwind or whatever. And it's like, we all know that leaves us thirsty still. Jesus said, he's like, you drink that water, you get thirsty again.
Yeah, and her initial response too is Jesus says, like, I'll give you water and you'll never thirst again. She goes, well, yeah, give me some of that so I don't have to come back here again. It's like, that's a means to get out of my current situation.
Yeah.
And oblivious to that, it is so much more than that. It is life-changing, heart-transforming. And
Yeah, because he's not just trying to satisfy her thirst.
yeah, it's not just right now.
He says it's living water that will bubble up as a spring unto salvation.
Yeah.
Springs bubble up and overflow.
Yes.
It's not just for her.
Right.
It's not less than for her, like it is
Yep.
for her. And it overflows that. So like when Jesus, like, what are the things that we keep going to that we think are going to be our safety, our rescue, this is going to help me disassociate from the stress of my life right now because I'm going to this, and Jesus is trying to beckon us to say, like, receive my living water and then drop that jar and then go tell someone. And that's the part that I think is hard, is to go tell someone.
Yeah. I think a lot of people think that is the job of somebody else. It's the job of Pastor Drew or Mike or the employees at the church. It was something that hit me after listening to the sermon was, well, where were the disciples in that moment? They were on mission for Christ to go to the city.
Go get some lunch.
To go get some lunch and come back. Like, this is like, we're doing it and we're doing it for the Lord. Meanwhile, Jesus has got missions going on for other people that we're completely unaware of. And for anybody listening to this, that listened to this sermon, like, it's more than just the employees. It's more than just Sunday volunteers. Like, God wants to work through each and every person that he has a relationship with, because, like you said, it is a spring, and that love is for that person, and there is an abundance of it, and then that person gets to go and share it with others. Because when you have that realization that God's love satisfies our greatest desire, like, we have a God-sized hole inside of us and we try to fill it with all these things that don't satiate us, but then when God fills that and we recognize the goodness of it, we look around and we realize that there's people that have that God-sized hole in front of them, and they're trying to fill it with whatever, and it doesn't work.
Well, and let me piggyback on that, filling it with whatever, because I just was thinking about this. Like, water. To me, there's nothing better
I just got thirsty.
than cool, refreshing water on a hot day when you've been out in the sun.
Yeah.
But if I'm honest, there's lots of days in my normal life when I don't want to drink water.
Oh, I'm not hitting my water intake goals. Hardly ever.
I want an ice cold Diet A&W. I want a lemon LaCroix. I want one of those like Crystal Light packets. I want, let's get a nice crisp cold soda or what. Like, I want some flavored kind of thing. But that's especially on days where I'm like, I'm not doing things that are making me truly thirsty. Like in the morning, man, give me coffee, don't give me water.
Yeah.
But when I'm working outside,
oh man,
and I'm in the sun and someone's like, do you want a nice piping hot mug of coffee? I'll be like, no, I don't. I don't.
Yeah.
And so then it's like, I can say, oh man, it's the love of God that actually satisfies us. That's what our souls are truly thirsting for. But if I'm honest, most of the time, I'm not thirsting for that. I'm thirsting for other things.
Yeah.
Maybe because I'm not actually getting thirsty enough.
Yeah. Yeah. When you're talking about that,
I'm drinking other things.
I have a very distinct memory of my time when I was in the Navy, when I was doing BUD/S training, and we were in the middle of, we were doing an O course evolution, and then we had all sorts of different exercises in between. And like, their big thing that a lot of people deal with dehydration, and man, it's hot and you're in the sand, so it's even hotter, and you're not stopping for water breaks at all until they stop you for a water break. And you realize in that moment how thirsty you've been the whole time. They're like, hydrate. This is your moment and your only moment. and everybody has 2 Nalgene bottles, which are 40-ounce bottles, and it's not cold. It's been sitting in the sand for an hour or so, and so it's warm water. And even that warm water, like when you are thirsty, when you are desperate for water, living water, when you are desperate for it, man, it's so good.
But if you were spending the hour before that hydration break sipping on soda
In the shade.
and other things,
Yeah.
you wouldn't be as thirsty. And
Right.
so for me, I'm wondering, how much do we need to actually limit these other things we're going to? Because they are half satiating our thirst. You know, when I'm
Immediate
stressed out,
gratification.
when I'm stressed out, I'm tired, just got home from work, the kids are kind of wound up, dinner's not ready yet,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm just like, you know what would be great is if you guys went and watched some TV so that I could get some stuff done, which then turns into me, great, they're doing whatever, and I'm going to sit on the couch, and I'm just going to like unwind, which turns into 30 minutes of social media scrolling, you know? Or like, oh man, I'm really like, I'm feeling really down about something, and so I'm going to try and go pick a project or a task for me to go do right now because that's going to make me feel good about myself because I cranked this out. You know, oh man, I'm sitting with some uncomfortable feelings of grief right now. So you know what I'm going to do? Avoid that. I'm going to avoid those feelings of grief. I'm going to go find something delicious to eat and eat my feelings instead. Like, if we can be aware of those things we're doing,
Yeah.
the things we're going to instead of true water, like, if we can start limiting that stuff, maybe we would be more thirsty for like the true water,
Yeah.
even if it is warm, even if it is only at a certain time. Man, it'd be so much better for me.
Yeah. When there's that process in your faith journey where you do get more involved in the word and you do start realizing, you know, the higher calling that you do have, you succumb to more of the law, not because you have to, but because you know that the law is good and it's good for others. And it's like, man, I missed this part in here where, you know, it's calling me that I need to step up. Man, I'm not really meeting that. And it's making me realize that I need more God. I need more God to get me through that because I don't have the strength to do it. And that necessitates the more water, more of that. I heard this term recently that helps me visualize the Spirit. The Spirit is a liquid. We see the Spirit in the form of oil, and that the Spirit fills us up. Like, man, I need some of that liquid Spirit to help me get through this stuff because the law, the calling of the law is so high. I can't do it in my own strength. And to bring it back to the text, like, we worship in spirit and in truth. Like, the Spirit is working through us even in worship. Mm-hmm. It is not like Mike's worship is not good enough. Mike's worship becomes self-centered.
Because we're not trying to earn our way to God.
Yeah.
By how often we show up to church, how often we read our Bible. Doing those things is how the Spirit of God is working in us.
Yeah.
To produce what God wants to do in us.
Yeah.
So like those things are good.
Right.
But we're not doing them to get God's love. It's because God's love is already given to us.
Yeah. We're not trying to fill that hole anymore. We're not trying to fill that God-sized hole. Once it's been filled, it pours over.
But how do you make that shift, right? Like if I'm going from, you know, vegging out on the couch, scrolling Facebook, and to get the dopamine, how am I going to make that shift to living water?
Yeah.
Like if it's not if it's not for that means, then why is the average Joe Blow going to do those changes? Because we're talking about an exercise, right?
Yeah.
Like we're talking about exercise in Scripture and exercise in these other things that fill us up, but that takes time.
Yeah. I think it's one thing you can point to is you look at your phone for 30 minutes at a time, or you were watching this Netflix series and then that one's over, so we go to the next one. We're constantly trying to fill it. My question for that person is that bringing you joy? And we live in a time where
KonMari our lives. If it doesn't spark joy, no.
people are living in like the most anxious times. We're all anxious, and we don't know why, but we avoid the word because we think that it's going to make us do something that we don't want to do. And so instead we just look at our phones, and I like the term you've used before, like unplug, not rest, but just like, I want to unplug for a little bit. And
yeah, resting and recharging is different than just zoning out.
Yeah. Resting versus recharging. I like that.
So like, and what do we do? That's a great question because, and you said something, it's going to take time. And I'm always in the process of trying to learn the lesson that immediate is not worth it. Long term is worth it. And by that, I mean, man, I'm really hungry right now and I'm craving something right now. And my brain wants carbs and sugar. And so I'm going to shove my face with pretzels or a donut. And in the moment that goes, okay, good, I got something in my body.
Yeah.
In the long term, though, every action we're doing, every choice we're making is reinforcing the type of person we're becoming, And so it's like, oh, I'm the type of person that shoves my face with two things. I'm the type of person that shoves my face with sugar or salty carbs when I get hungry, or two, I'm the type of person that doesn't plan ahead until I'm so hungry that my only option is to shove, right? Like shove my face. And it's like both those. Or am I the type of person that is making the choice to I'm the type of person that plans ahead for a meal. I'm the type of person that creates space in my day to actually like connect with my wife so that I'm not just always feeling like I'm carrying it all by myself. I think of any of these miracle drugs, and every generation has had them, right now it's Ozempic, a miracle drug to get you the body you want, right?
Now.
Yeah. And by that, they mean in, 6 to 12 weeks.
Yeah.
Or 6 months versus doing it without that. And I mean, that drug was developed for people with insulin deficiencies and diabetes. So it's like it is a helpful medicine for certain things that now they're finding other uses for. Okay. I'm not saying that Ozempic is bad. What I'm saying is if I am going, I am going to use this tool to get a quick action without learning the habits that reinforce that action, I'm going to yo-yo right back. There's right before a couple of years ago, I think when Emmy had first been born, so we had one kid, and I had some guy who I knew that was like, you got to get on this Nutrisystem, which was shakes and little bars and stuff like that, with meal replacement. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm trying to lose some weight. I'm going to do this. And I did it for like 6 to 8 months, and I dropped like 30 pounds. And the point is you have these like meal replacements, these little fake, I called it astronaut food because it literally was like, this food is going to last for 17 years and in the recesses of space, totally fine. And it's just like these little 100-calorie things and shakes and bars and kind of all taste processed and fake, but it doesn't have a whole lot of calories. So you end up losing weight. And you're supposed to do that first as like all meal replacement with one meal. And then you do half of that with 2 meals. And then you do just the snacks to reinforce the 3 meals. But you're trying to learn how to do good lean and green meals to reinforce. Well, I did it right before the pandemic hit. And then the pandemic hits and we're all in our houses by ourselves.
Yeah.
And everyone's baking sourdough bread at home.
Comfort food.
And it's the world is on fire, stressed, and I work at a church and we're stressed.
Yeah.
And I have a baby at home and we're stressed. And my only joy in life, my whole life growing up has been food. And all of a sudden I was like, you know what? Forget these shakes. I'm going right back to cheeseburgers. And I didn't learn the disciplines to reinforce that. Oh yeah, yo-yoed right back. And so I think of that when I think of spiritual habits too, is if we're in yes, it's a hard transition, but it's gonna take time. And to have grace with ourselves to be in process. You know, like the woman, she didn't have it figured out before she went and told the other people, hey, this is what Jesus told me.
And she was also avoidant.
She was in process, though, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't have it all figured out yet, but
okay.
Let's go.
Before she was avoidant.
Yeah.
And I'll circle that back to your original question is, well, how do you get them from where they are to with Jesus? And you know, you can't get where you need to go unless you know where you're at right now. Yeah. And I'll expand on the previous comment I made. Like, do you have joy in your life? Do you have love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, self-control? Like, it takes an honest assessment of where you're at. And if you don't, and you're trying to find those things in whatever your habits are, if you're trying to find those things in your habits and you're not finding them, then maybe it's time to do something different and not just avoid God. It's easy to not feel conviction. It's easy to not change if you just avoid the subject.
Yeah.
And
I don't like these uncomfortable feelings, and I'm going to zone out from them.
And it's not, hey, here's 10 steps to a more loving, joyful, peaceful, fruit of the Spirit life. It's an assessment of where you are at, and people don't need good advice. They need good news. And that's what she gets here. Like I'm here now.
Yep.
And
I am the savior you've been waiting for.
Yeah.
And I came just for you.
And it's not practical advice that changes people's hearts. It's good news.
Yes. And one of the things that I feel strongly about, and one of the ways I always want to end any of our messages, but even this conversation, is to have a simple next step.
Yeah.
I think that, how do we change? Small next steps at a time,
Where are you now?
Yeah. Small steps of figuring out where we are and then taking a next step. And sometimes, I think of GPS. I've used this before. I think that sometimes the Holy Spirit to me is like Google Maps.
Yeah. Do you want to avoid Samaria?
And I don't check that.
No.
I'm okay with going through Samaria.
We'll go through Samaria.
I'm okay with tolls sometimes. But like the way that the GPS directs you, you're heading down the road, you take a wrong turn, and the GPS doesn't yell at you and hit you upside the head saying,
recalculating.
You dummy. Guess what? You're bum out of luck. You just took a wrong turn. You're going to hell. Like, it doesn't say that. It says recalculating.
Unless you're on Waze, then it's Homer Simpson going, go.
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson.
It says recalculating. It says, whoops, you took a wrong turn. And maybe the answer is you got to go back the way you came. Maybe the answer is now there's a detour. There are consequences to taking wrong turns in life.
Yeah.
But the GPS is going to get you to where it's trying to take you. And if we're listening to the Spirit, God is going to get us to where He's trying to take us to. But you got to be driving. You know how you don't get to your destination? By sitting on the side of the road.
Right.
And one of the things that I don't like when I'm going somewhere new, maybe I've pulled off, you're on the highway and you pull off on some exit you've never done before, and there's some little truck stops and like that, and you get out and you start driving back towards the highway and you go, wait, which way am I supposed to go?
Yeah.
And the GPS is like doing this kind of thing. And it's like, we're not sure
There's
where you are.
3 right turns.
We're not sure where you
mile.
are. It's the magnets haven't aligned yet. And it's like, and you just have to start moving. And then it goes, oh, now we know where you're going. Yeah, turn around. Like sometimes you just have to take a direction for it to realize, yeah, you're heading in the wrong direction. Now turn around. You can't just sit in the parking lot going, well, tell me it's a right turn or left turn. And it's like, I'm not sure where you are until you start moving. And I think sometimes with God, that is the thing too, where we're going, well, what should I do, God? What do I do? Go.
Yeah. And
take a step.
And when you made that wrong turn, I'm still here with you.
I'm still here with you.
Yeah. I didn't jump out.
I'm recalculating.
Yeah.
And I'm leading you. Oh, hey, should I cut out all social media in my life? I don't know. Take a step. There's one day I'm going to not have social media. Did it make me feel more connected to Jesus or less connected to Jesus? There's one day where I just binged for 4 hours. Is it more connected to Jesus, less connected? Like, I took a step and I binged for 4 hours and I went, this was the wrong direction, right? Like, or, lots of people during Lent, they gave up different things. And it's kind of like, for me, I didn't give up social media during Lent, but I limited myself to a certain number of minutes per day because I still wanted to stay connected to people. And that was the right step for me at that time. Then Lent ended. those restrictions came off my phone. My phone usage has gone up like this. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the wrong turn. I need to like recalculate again
Yeah.
and get back into these things. And so I really do think that for everyone, what's one simple next step? What is one simple next step? And it's not like, oh, my next step is I'm going to create a daily prayer habit in a prayer closet that I set up in my room, that I go through a 14-point checklist and pray for all the. That is a really incredible month-long project.
Yeah.
But the first next step towards it might be putting an alarm on my phone tomorrow that says, pray. The simple next step for me might be saying, oh, I want to receive living water from Jesus. Okay. What's one next step? I'm going to sign up for a 3-day Bible reading plan on the Bible app.
Yeah.
My next step isn't complete it. My next step is sign up for it.
And who else in my life would want to go through this with me?
Yeah. Go tell someone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, what's one simple next step? And it's by doing those daily over time. That's when we see the change, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that if we can each walk away with what's one simple next step that I think God's invited me to take, even if we get it wrong, God will let us know. Because the pressure isn't on me to get it right or to do it right or to climb my way to God. The pressure isn't on me to clean my own heart and soul so that I can get closer to God. God is the one who's saying, let's go together. I'll clean you as I go. I'll heal you as we go. I'll transform you as we go. And it's not only about you. Look at all the other people I'm going to be transforming and healing and helping through you as we go.
That's right.
That's good news.
Amen.
Well, thank you guys for joining us for this first episode of this companion podcast. We hope that it's helped you in your faith journey. And if you have a question or a comment, or if you have a simple next step, go ahead and send us a message. We'd love to cheer you on, pray with you, give you feedback. But until next week, when we are continuing to just discuss the things that are in our Bible and the ways that Jesus is trying to work in us to help us become more and more like him. So until then, peace.